Sol and I and the board discussed his intentions yesterday and over the last little while. And I would say that through our nominations committee, we are very well prepared with our succession planning as we've been looking at this over a very long period of time. And given that we are now well advanced in our transformation plan, and that plan is very much on track, we agreed very much between us that this is a suitable time to formally commence a wide-ranging search for Sol's successor. And as a board, we expect to be in a position to make an appointment by the 30th of June. On behalf of the Telstra board, and let me say the board reiterated this to me again this morning, I want to very publicly congratulate Sol on his outstanding leadership and the extraordinary achievements that have taken place in this company under his leadership over the last 4 years. What I'd like to do is just make a few comments about Sol's contribution to Telstra, because it's been so extensive that I think it's worth at least putting a few of these more outstanding features on the record. But we start by going back to where we were in 2004 when we started looking for a chief executive to run the company going into the 21st century. And what we were looking for at that time was a leader with strategic vision, a vision for what Telstra could be as we went into this quite remarkable century that we're going into in terms of telecommunications and the media. Someone who had a deep knowledge and experience in the telecommunications industry, because obviously this company still has a very substantial base in traditional telephony, as well as the opportunities that we see going forward in the new media. We wanted somebody with international experience in competitive markets, because that was clearly lacking in the company at that time. We wanted somebody with experience across the range of platforms and services, and in particular, some of the recognition of the opportunities that would be available to this company through the integration that a company of this nature could actually bring. Also an individual who was capable of driving cultural change, and indeed someone with a track record of successful implementation of change programs, both cultural change and physical change in a business. And at the time, I was frankly overwhelmed by what I saw when I met Sol for the first time in Palo Alto a bit over 4 years ago. And the vision that he showed, the strategic thinking that he showed about this industry and this company was something that impressed me and has impressed me and continues to impress me in Sol. And indeed, he has delivered above and beyond anything that I think we could have reasonably expected out of somebody over this last 4 years. That vision and strategic direction and commitment to execution that Sol brought with him, and the other people that he brought in and the people that he's developed within the company, has positioned Telstra as a media and communications company, and I say this very carefully, but I think it's most important, with a very wide range of options for what we can do going forward, and to build ongoing growth into a company that is going through quite dramatic change, and will continue to go through quite dramatic change, I think, as far as the eye can see. Under Sol's leadership, Telstra has significantly outperformed the market and its global peers. We've produced world-leading results for the telecommunications sector. I don't think there's any doubt that the next G network is the world's best national mobile broadband network. And amongst a number of outstanding achievements, I think that stands as Sol's greatest achievement, and I think more time will prove even more just how important that decision was, both the strategic decision and the speed of implementation of getting that next G network in place, because it has fundamentally changed the face of telecommunications. And I just an aside, I met a former executive of Telstra a couple of days ago, who's now working outside Australia, who I ran into in the hotel, whose comment after we exchanged pleasantries was what an outstanding achievement next year has been, what a game-changing effort that has been in terms of telecommunications in this country, and I think it is without doubt the case. And as somebody who lives in the country, at least some of the time when I'm able to get home, I can tell you from a rural perspective it has been the most outstanding achievement in communications in this country. So the integrated NextG network, the Next IP networks, the critical role that Sol played in the successful completion of Telstra's privatisation, and I don't think there's any doubt that was the most difficult privatisation ever carried out in this country, and maybe any. His drive and his motivation and his commitment to innovation across the country. I don't think we ever have a conversation where we don't talk about how innovation is important to the company, how it's important to our customers, how it's important to the country. And Sol's ability, I've heard it described as being able to see around corners in terms of what's coming, has been a major driver in putting innovation into this company in the way that it has. We've now migrated 7 million customers to our new IT platform, a massive effort, and that's proceeding apace. The rollout of ADSL 2+ to exchanges covering over 80% of the population. And I think we all need to bear in mind just the scale of this country geographically, that it is the size of Western Europe or continental USA, with a population of 20 million compared to 300 million in those countries. And yet we've managed to achieve these remarkable coverages. NextG covers 99% of that population. Sol's introduction of market-based management and customer segmentation has revolutionised the market in this company. The launch and rollout of our T-Life stores, first 2 here in Sydney and then Melbourne, and then across more of the company, and that's still continuing at pace, have changed the retailing face of the business. And I think whilst it's been small but growing, the successful expansion into mainland China with the acquisitions that we've made there have set us on another platform for growth going into the future. In 2005, when Sol first arrived, he presented to the board and then the market a plan for the company and the performance and financial metrics that he wanted to be judged against. He laid those down firmly at that time, and it was a courageous thing to do because it's in black and white and people are able to go back and look at it. But I think the important thing is that he has delivered against all of those metrics that were put there. So in concluding, let me say that this company is very well positioned for the future. It's well positioned for the future because of the work that Sol and the team have done, and I have no doubt that we will go from strength to strength, and we will certainly see what we do. So Sol, I want to wish you the very best for the future and thank you for the work that you've done. But let me also say to everybody in this room and everybody else around, I look forward to seeing Sol continue to drive this business up to midnight on the 30th of June, and I have no doubt that it will. It may even be sometimes towards 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, if any experience of most of us is there, that he'll still be driving the business at that point. And I have no doubt that the leadership that he's shown to Telstra over the last 4 years will long be considered a pivotal and critical period in Telstra's history as we see the success of the company going forward. So much of that will be attributable back to this last 4 years.